Hello student. Yes. Today we are going to study with the new lesson. The concept is old, but we are giving in the new lesson. This concept you already study in 6th as well as in the 7th standard. Okay. Did you remember the name fiber to fabric? Yes. In your 7th standard also it is there. In the 6th standard it is also there. That fiber to fabric. The continuation part of that fiber to fabric is given in this lesson. What is the lesson name? The lesson name is synthetic fibers and plastics. There in the 2 years you study about fibers, what are the types of fibers we have and how we convert that fibers to that means fabric, how we are going to convert that fibers to fabric, everything we discussed in the last year. But here now we are going to discuss with the next further improvement topics for you. That is, here you are going to discuss with the plastics and you are going to discuss with the some of the fibers, how that fibers are prepared, how we are going to use that fibers. This everything you are going to study in this chapter. Shall we start this lesson? Okay. Now we are going to start this lesson. Okay. Yeah, before going to start this lesson, I have some of the doubts that I want to clarify with you. Okay, if you ask what are the doubt means, what are fibers? Before going to start with the lesson, first you want to know about the fibers. What are fibers? You already study about the fibers for the last 2 years. From the last 2 years, you are going to study about the fibers, right? Then what are fibers? What are fibers? Okay, I will only tell the definition for the fibers. If you see what are fiber means, a very thin thread-like strand, a very thin thread-like strand from which a cloth is made. What are fibers? What are fibers? A fibers is a very thin thread-like strand from which the cloth is made. This is the perfect definition for the fibers. I will tell one more time what are fibers. A fiber is a thin thread-like strand which are going to make the cloth. These are known as fibers. Okay, we know the definition of the fibers. Okay, to explain the definition of the fibers, you just take any cloth, cotton cloth. Okay, just take the cotton cloth. You just remove the one thread of that cloth. If you remove it, you will get one thread-like structure, right? The thread-like structure of the fiber will come when you are going to remove the cotton cloth, right? After studying of the fiber, you want to know the definition of the yarn. What are yarn? What are yarn? If you want to know what is yarn means, a fabric. Yarn is a fabric, okay? We want to consider as an yarn as a fabric. Fabric is made by weaving and also by knitting. Weaving and knitting along with the twisting also. If the fabric undergo weaving, knitting and twisting the threads, that we call it as an yarn. What are yarn? The fabric is undergo or the fabric is made. Okay, that fabric we call it as an yarn. That fabric is made how? Weaving and next by knitting and next we are going to use the twisted. You already know this concept. again, that's why I'm not giving much more information about that, what is weaving, knitting, and again twisted. How we are going to weaving? By using the power looms. Maybe you heard the name of the looms, right? By using the power looms, we are going to weave the fabric. Knitting, as usual, we are going to make the knots for the fabric. Twisting, we are going to twist by using chakra. Okay, by using chakra, we are going to twist the fabric. This is how we are going to weaving, knitting, and twisting the threads. We know the two definitions. One is the definition for the fabric, and another one definition is for the yarn. What are fiber? If you know what are fiber means, a very thin thread-like strand from which the cloths are made. Okay, after discussion of the two definitions, now we are going to discuss with the two types of the fiber. Can you guess what are the two types of the fibers? Can you guess that what are the two types of the fiber? Okay. If you know, I think you already know the types of the fibers, right? What are the two types of the fibers? The two main important types of the fibers are, one is of the natural fiber and another one is the synthetic fiber. Ma'am, we already know about this natural fiber and synthetic fiber. Can you tell what is exactly the natural fiber and the synthetic fiber? Yeah. If you see what is this natural fiber and the synthetic fiber means, first we will discuss with the natural fiber, then we will go for discussion with the synthetic fibers. If you see that what are natural fibers, first you understood the definition of fiber, right? What is the definition of the fiber? A very thin thread-like strand from which the cloth is made, that we call it as a fiber. In fiber, there are two types. One is of the natural fiber and another one is of the synthetic fiber. First, we are going to discuss with the natural fibers. What are these natural fibers? Okay, the fibers that obtained from the nature. The fibers which are obtained from the nature. We are not going to do anything to form these fibers. That type of fibers we call it as a natural fiber. What are natural fibers? The fibers that which can obtain from the nature. The fibers which are obtained from the nature. That type of the fibers we call it as a natural fibers. Examples? You can give so much of examples for the natural fibers. I will return just someone. Best example for the natural fibers are cotton, jute, silk, wool. Okay, these are some of the natural fibers. Okay, these are some of the important natural fibers. First of all, what are natural fibers? The fibers which are obtained from the nature, that type of fibers we call it as a natural fibers. Example, cotton, jute, silk, wool. Okay, that are the best examples for the natural fibers. After studying of the natural fibers, now we are going to discuss with the synthetic fibers. What are synthetic fibers? Okay, if the fibers are obtained from the nature, that we call it as a natural fiber. Then what is the synthetic fiber? Synthetic fibers is also called as an artificial fibers also. Why we want to call it the synthetic fibers as an artificial fiber? Then what is exactly the definition of the synthetic fiber then? The fibers which are obtained from the man-made. The man-made fiber. Okay, man-made fibers we call it as in synthetic fibers. What are synthetic fibers? Man-made fibers is called as in synthetic fibers. Or another one definition you can tell, the fibers which are produced artificially. The fibers which are produced artificially, then that type of the fibers we call it as in synthetic fibers. What are synthetic fibers? One definition you can give that the man-made fibers, we call it as in synthetic fibers. Or another definition, if you want to tell, you can give the definition of what are synthetic fibers. The another name of the synthetic fibers is artificial fiber. What is artificial fiber? The fibers which can prepared artificially with the use of the man, by the usage of the man. That type of fibers we call it as an artificial fibers or synthetic fibers. Example for the synthetic fibers or artificial fibers: Rayon, Nylon. These are some of the examples for the synthetic fibers or artificial fibers. Okay, we will discuss one by one. I said that in this chapter we are going to discuss with every types of fibers, with their preparation, with their uses, all the things we will discuss here. Okay. Next, after discussing with the natural fibers and the synthetic fibers, that is types of fibers, now we are going to discuss with about the polymers. What is this polymers? Polymers. If you see in the Greek, the polymers is divided into poly means many, mers means unit. What is the meaning of polymers? Poly means many, mers means unit. Therefore, what is exactly the definition of the polymers? The definition of the polymers is, it is a very big molecules. If you consider the polymers are the very big molecules formed by the combination of the large number of small units. Okay, consider first the polymer. It is a very big molecule. If you consider poly means many, mers means unit. Therefore, it is a very big molecule. If you see the polymer is a very big molecules formed by the combination of the large number of the small units. Just take the example that pearl set. Okay, just I am taking the example of the pearl set. If you see the pearls, if you see the pearl set, how it is arranged? It is a straight thread. For the straight thread, we are going to put one by one thread pearls. Like for the straight thread, we are going to arrange the pearls by one. That arrangement is called as an polymerization. That arrangement of the pearls in a thread, we call it as an polymerization. And that arrangement, that one by one, the pearl is added to the thread, that we call that chain, we call it as an polymer. And that one pearl is called as an monomers. What are monomers? The monomers are the simplest unit which are going to join to form the polymers. I said, given the example also, how exactly the polymers are there. If you see the polymers, the best example, you can take any of the pearl long chain set. In that, the one pearl is attached with the another one pearl, by the use of the thread. Like the thread-like arrangement of the pearl or the thread-like arrangement of the monomers, we call it as an polymers. And that process is called as an polymerization. What is the definition of polymer? It is very big molecules formed by the combination of large number of the small molecules. That small molecules we call as an monomers. After discussion of the polymers, then now we are going to discuss with in the polymers also the two types of polymers are there. One is natural polymers and as well as the synthetic polymers. It is similar with the definitions of the natural fibers as well as the synthetic fibers. What is the definition of then for the natural polymers? The polymers that is obtained in the nature, we call it as a natural polymer. Then what is synthetic polymer? The polymers which are obtained from the man-made polymers, we call it as a synthetic polymers. Okay, if you take the example of the cellulose, okay, if you take the example for the Rayon, okay, you are taking the example of the Rayon, in that, or you just to take the example of the cellulose only. In the cellulose, if you see, It is, I said that the pearl, the one by one arrangement of the pearl to make the pearl set, right? In the cellulose also the same type of arrangement. How? If you ask how, consider here the pearl is the glucose. Okay, consider that here the pearl is glucose. The one by one arrangement of the glucose to form the structure of the cellulose. Therefore, how exactly the cellulose are formed? The cellulose are formed by the only the one thing that present in the cellulose is glucose only. Any molecules are not present. Only the cellulose are present in the cellulose. It present only is of the glucose. The glucose is the monomer that present in the cellulose. Any other monomers are not present in the cellulose. Understood? What is the arrangement of the cellulose? The cellulose consists of only one type of monomer, that is of the glucose. What is the only one monomer that present in the cellulose? The only one monomer that present in the cellulose is glucose. Understood? What is the one type of the monomer that present in the cellulose? The only one type of monomer that present in the cellulose is glucose. After that, if you see the nylon, consider this is the pearl slit. Only the pearls are present. Okay. Example for the nylon is, take the beads. Okay, the beads means you get different color beads. Right. One is red, blue, green, like that it will come. Take only the two colors. Okay, red and green. Okay, you are taking the beads of red and green. How the arrangement of the monomer in the nylon means, if you see in the nylon, the two different types of monomers are combined each other to form the polymers. In the nylon, if you see the nylon, in the nylon, the two different types of monomers. I said that one is the red and another one is the green bead. If the red, green, green, like that, if the beads are arranged to form the long thread-like structure, then that we call as an nylon. Therefore, in the cellulose, only the glucose molecules is present. In cellulose, only the glucose molecules is present. But if you see in the nylon, the two different types of monomers are arranged to form the nylon. Okay, this is all about the polymers. Now we are going to discuss about some of the important examples for the synthetic fibers, along with their preparations and also along with the uses. Okay. First, you already know the definition of synthetic fibers, right? What is the definition of synthetic fiber? The man-made fibers, we call it as in synthetic fibers, are the fibers which are made artificially. Then that type of the fibers are also called as in synthetic fibers. Okay, in the synthetic fibers we know the definition. Now we are going to discuss with the types of synthetic fibers. Okay, we are going to, I said that we are going to discuss with the types of synthetic fibers along with the definition, preparation and uses. If you see the first type of the synthetic, we have so many types of synthetic fibers. In that, the first is rayon. What are rayon? The first important synthetic fibers we are going to discuss with about the rayon. What is this rayon means? If you see, the rayon is a half synthetic and half natural fiber. Why we want to consider that rayon as the half synthetic fiber and half natural fibers means, here if you see the rayons is a synthetic fibers only. That means it is a man-made fiber only. But the man can make that fiber with the use of the natural raw materials. One more time I tell. If you see the rayon is a synthetic fiber only. Okay, but the synthetic fiber is prepared from the man by the usage of the natural raw materials like wood pulp. Okay, like that. By the usage of the wood pulp, we are going to prepare this rayon. Therefore, rayon is called as an half synthetic and half natural fibers. Understood? And also rayon is also called as an artificial silk. You know that silk is a natural fiber. If you see the cost of the silk, it is very heaviest, right? If you see the cost of the silk, it is too much. Okay, where you get that silk? It gets from silkworm. Okay, that is of the original fiber, that is natural fiber, that is silk. But this here rayon we considered as an artificial silk. Therefore, this artificial silk is prepared by the usage of the natural raw material. Now we are going to discuss with how exactly the preparation of the rayon takes place. Now we are going to discuss with how exactly the preparation of the rayon takes place. If you see the first method, of the preparation of rayon is, the first thing is the wood pulp is dissolved in an alkaline solution to form sticky liquid called viscous. What you are going to do in the first step? In the first step, in the preparation, I am going to explain for the preparation of the rayon. How we are going to prepare the rayon means, the first we are going to dissolve that wood pulp in an alkaline solution. Alkaline means basic solutions. Okay. First what we are going to do? We are going to dissolve that wood pulp in a basic solution. What we are going to do? We are going to dissolve an wood pulp in a basic solution. After dissolving of the wood pulp in the basic solution, jelly type liquid will come. Okay, a sticky or jelly type liquid will come. That liquid, that sticky type liquid, we call it as an viscous. First what we are going to do, we want to dissolve the wood pulp in the basic solution or alkaline solution. Then a sticky liquid is formed. That liquid we call it as a viscous. After that, viscous will come. Then what we are going to do? The viscous is forced to pass through the tiny holes, that sticky liquid. Okay, you get, I said that you get the sticky liquid, right? That sticky liquid you want to pass through the holes by applying some of the force. Like that we are going to pass that sticky liquid on the holes. After that, the tiny holes of the metal cylinder. We want to pass that sticky liquid to the holes of the metal cylinder. That metal cylinder we call it as an spinneret. spinneret. Into a solution of sulfuric acid. After getting the viscous, that viscous we want to pass through the tiny holes of the metal cylinder to the sulfuric acid solution. Where we are going to pass that viscous? We want to pass that viscous through the tiny holes of the metal cylinder. For where? Sulfuric acid. We want to pass that to the sulfuric acid when a silk thread of rayon is formed. After that, you get your thread of the rayon. One more time I will explain how exactly the rayon is prepared. First what you are going to do? First, for the preparation of the rayon, the first thing what you are going to do means, we want to dissolve that wood pulp. First, we are going to dissolve wood pulp in alkaline solution. First, we are going to dissolve wood pulp in alkaline solution. After dissolving of the wood pulp in the alkaline solution, you get sticky liquid. What you get? You get sticky liquid. That sticky liquid we call it as an viscous. What that exactly the sticky liquid called as? Sticky liquid is called as an viscous. After that, that viscous is passed through. That viscous is passed through holes of the metal cylinder, small holes of the metal cylinder for the dilute sulfuric acid. After passing that viscous through the holes of the sulfuric acid, it becomes like a thread. When you put into the sulfuric acid, it becomes through the thread. Then that thread we call it as an rayon. This is how exactly the rayon is prepared. Understood how exactly the rayons are prepared? Rayons are also called as an artificial silk also. After discussing of the rayon, after discussing the preparation of the rayon, the last thing we want to discuss about the uses of rayon, where we are going to use the rayons. If you see what are the uses of the rayons, the first important use of the rayons are, the first one, rayon is used in the textile industries for making the clothing like saris, blouse, dress, socks, etc. The first use I will repeat one more time. Rayon is used in the textile industries for making cloths like saris, blouses, dress, socks, etc. This is the first use of the rayon. After that, rayon mixed with the cotton. Okay, if the rayon, if it is mixed with the cotton, is used to make the furnishing such as bed sheets, curtains, blankets, etc. The original rayon is used for making the blouse, saris, socks like that, etc. And if that rayon, if it is mixed with the cotton, we are going to use it for the bed sheets, curtains, blankets and etc. After that, if the rayon mixed with the wool is used to make carpets. If the rayon is mixed with the wool, then that will use it for the carpets. Next, rayon is used in the medical field for making the bandages and surgical dressing. Okay, that rayon only is used in the medical field also. Where it is used means it is used for making the bandages and also in the surgical dressing. And the last use, rayon is used for the tire industries for the manufactures of the tire cord. In the tire industries also it is going to preparation for the tire cord. These are the some of the uses of the rayon. What are the some of the uses of the rayon we discussed? The rayon is used in the cloth industries, so in the saris, blouse, socks, etc. And it is used in, we discussed with that, if it is mixed with the wool, it is used as the carpet. If it is mixed with the cotton, it is used for the bedsheet, curtains. And rayon is also used in the medical field for the bandages and for the dressing. Okay, these are the some of the uses of the rayon. Today we discussed only the one type of the synthetic fiber, right? We discussed only the one type of the synthetic fibers, that is of rayon. In the next class, we are going to discuss with some other types of the artificial fibers or synthetic fibers. What are the things we discussed today in this class? We discussed in this class first about the what is the definition of fiber, yarn, natural fiber, synthetic fibers, definition of polymers. After defining the polymers, we are going to discuss with the natural polymer, synthetic polymer. Then we are going to discuss with the cellulose, nylon. Again, we come back to the synthetic fibers. In that, we are going to discuss with the types of the synthetic fibers. In the types of the synthetic fibers, we discussed only about the rayon. In the next classes, we are going to discuss with the another different types of the fibers, that is synthetic fibers. I hope you understood everything what I discussed today. In the next class, we are going to discuss with the another different types of the synthetic fibers. Up to that, bye everyone and thank you.